This is not what I turned pro to do.
In your own words,
Yeah.
who is Vidal Riley?
The realist, Vidal Riley!
At what point did KSI and becoming his coach happen?
I'm a personal trainer. I trained a lot of big creators like Behzinga, a lot of the Sidemen. Yeah, KSI was having a boxing match, and then everyone at that point started, you know how PT? He's like 8-time national champion, you know? Like, you should do boxing with him. After the first session, he said, I'm in. And then obviously I started boxing at 3 years old, so.
3.
Yeah.
Your dad obviously a big influence in you.
Massive.
Starting boxing?
Yes, because he used to box.
I mean, how many amateur fights did you have?
55.
Which really isn't many. 8 national titles,
Yeah.
a silver, which should have been a gold in European juniors.
But again, all you have to do is train a YouTube and then the whole world will forget about it. So I had 2 losses to him back to back. And then at that point, my dad's like, you got 2 choices. You either quit or turn pro. Fly out 1 week, spar, and then your career starts with Mayweather Promotions in Vegas. It's all too good to be true, innit? It's too good to be true. Fight in MGM Grand, you're gonna headline, you're gonna be signed to Mayweather Promotions, train a superstar. Are you taking this pro career serious? Didn't have any nerves fighting Chef, not in the fight week, not on the ring walk, not during the fight. This is a task that I know I'm going to handle, and I'm gonna be British champion.
Viddal, the realist, Riley!
Big target on your back, Aloys Jr.
He's just wearing that Burger King crown. So if Aloys wants to fight, let the games begin.
The champ, Vidal Riley.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? I'm so...
a former champ. always a champ. Once when you're a champ,
No,
you have to always.
I
say
like
the champ.
that. I like that. I like, you know, somebody who's achieved, certainly, you know, what you've just achieved, the British title, you know, you can be labelled a champ.
Yeah, but you have to be labelled a champ as well.
Ah, stop it. I teed you up there, didn't I? For those who are not watching this and listening to this on the audio, I'm very upset with the jacket you're wearing.
Oh.
Spurs plastered across his jacket.
It's a nice jacket though, isn't it?
It is, to be fair, it's just missing Chelsea as opposed to Spurs. But, right, I want to ask you an opening question, right?
Yeah.
You're known for a lot of things. The ultra slick rising star in British boxing, the man behind KSI's boxing journey, a YouTuber with 1 million of followers, and even a talented musician. But I want to strip all that back for a second. In your own words,
Yeah.
who is Vidal Riley?
In my own words, I think someone just like anyone else who has many interests and hobbies. But I just feel like if I do one of my hobbies to a good enough level, then that's when it becomes like part of your titles and part of your like occupations or whatever, you know. But I feel like there's so many people that like making music, so many people that like to talk, have a podcast, do you know what I mean? But then I think when you can make your interests on a, like, be known on a bigger scale, then it's acknowledged as, yeah, a profession, I would say. So I'm just like everyone else. I just think I'd make my hobbies professional.
Do you think you're born to be a star?
In
In whatever field?
Yeah, I believe so now. I haven't always thought that. My grandma's always said that to me. She always said that she was more lenient on me than every other grandkid and even her kids, because she thought, that he's got something. So she's always said it. My dad's always said it. My mum's always said it. I didn't always believe it. And then as life has, gone through, I'm like, you know what, maybe I am.
Yeah, you got a little smile on your face.
Maybe I am.
Maybe I am that star.
Yeah, maybe.
Right, so Hackney born and Tottenham bred.
Yes.
How was your childhood?
Oh man, there's so much. There's so much. I had a good childhood. Definitely had a good childhood. I had 2 strong parents, disciplined parents, like disciplinary characters. You know what I mean? They're very similar. Like, I think most people can run to their mum and get something, or run to their dad and get something. They were a unite front. So there was no like, oh, I'll just ask mum. It's like, what did your dad say? I asked my daddy, what did he say?
Proper tag team partner.
Literally tag team partners. So I had a good upbringing. Like, me and my I got a little sister as well, younger sister. I ain't little anymore. But no, good childhood. Troublesome. But I think it was just me trying to express my creativity.
But not bad.
Not bad,
No.
but just that guy in school always in detention and like calls, I'm calling your mom, I'm calling your dad, like just that sort of stuff. Do you know what I mean? Nothing crazy, but and then obviously I started boxing at 3 years old. So
3.
yeah.
I had 6, but it was
I
3.
went to the gym first at 6. I actually remember seeing you in the gym as a little kid because I started at Repton.
Yeah.
And I remember like seeing you on the wall, you know, they got all the champions on the wall and stuff. And obviously he was being raved about as the guy.
Stop it.
So no, I remember that though. I do remember that. And of course your brother as well.
No, thank you.
You know, rest his soul. But I was there. I was a tiny kid, but I was there. Like I remember it. So even sitting here now with you doing this podcast is weird because it's like how many years I've been aware of you in my lifetime to then we end up doing something like this or you end up commentating on one of my fights and stuff. And it's
mad,
just crazy. Yeah, life's crazy.
And I find that as well. There's, you know, a real connection between the people. Even if I see somebody, an old face that's on the wall at Repton, there's just that respect, right?
Immediately. Because it's like there's not many people that you're gonna know of or care about or have any relevance for your whole life or majority of your life. So even if it's someone you don't see day to day or whatever, if you're just in the same room as them as a 6-year-old and then you continue in the same path, they continue in the same path and you see them at 20, it's like, oh yeah, that's Darren. Like, it's just it's just one of those feelings. I think in terms of like West Ham, where most of my amateur career
But for those who don't know, Repton and West Ham are big rivals. Big rivals. Like, I mean, it was embedded in me. Yeah. Do not lose to a West Ham fighter.
Same to me. Don't lose. Yeah. Once I didn't have any bouts at Repton. I had bouts for Newham and then West Ham. And then
you're one of us, though. You're one of the Repton boys.
No, I know. Do that. I'm not letting you do that. No.
No, we cut you open. You'll bleed green and gold. I know.
No, camera, don't do that. I fought 2 Repton boys. When I boxed for West Ham, I won both of them.
Did you? Funny enough, on the flip side, I only fought one West Ham boy and I lost to him.
Who was it?
Matthew Marsh.
Oh, yeah.
Matthew Marsh beat me. I only boxed one. So, my record against West Ham, not very good. So, you started at Repton.
Yeah.
And then, was it Newham, then West Ham?
Yes. So, started at Repton. That's where I had my gym shows. You know, Tony Burns, rest his soul. Well, Bobby Beck.
Yeah.
Rest his soul, too. That was like, I was there at that time. So that was my sort of wave. McNesses and were there as well.
Yeah.
Scott and Sam and man, Daniel Dubois.
We'll get onto that in a bit.
Yeah.
Your old foe.
There's so much, there's so much history there at Repton because that's where boxing started.
Yeah, and there is a lot of, that London ABA scene. You kind of know, even if you didn't personally know them, you would know of them and you'd know of their teammates and you'd know the coaches and there's a big connection. I used to like it going into the national sort of quarters and beyond. So once you get through the Londons, etc., you're almost all the London boys. Like, how you doing? You're right. And even the West Ham boys, you wave them.
Yeah, because
you're part of it.
Kind of representing this section now, you know what I mean? And I feel like London's extremely hard to get out of.
Yeah.
In a national tournament, if you can get out of London, you got a good chance. You know, I always thought about the final from the Northeast dips. Do you know what I mean? That's how I was. I just thought this needs to be done, but really, where's the final?
Yeah.
You know, that's how I used to.
I think I had 5 fights to win the Londons.
That's crazy.
Like 5 fights to win the Londons.
Yeah, I wasn't as lucky as you.
Your dad, obviously, a big influence in you.
Massive.
Starting boxing?
Yes, because he used to box. So he used to box for West Ham as well. You know, so he had an amateur career, never turned pro. Boxed as a senior as well, for Broad Street. And then he stopped boxing, I think like 2001. And then from there, that's kind of when he was like, right, I know exactly what needs to be done. I believe I know what needs to be done. I'm going to teach you. But he says he only taught me because I had a lot of energy, getting in a lot of trouble, needed somewhere to put the energy. Plus, whenever he gave me things to do, one jab here, a step here, I'd do it. And it didn't seem like it took much effort. So he was like, no, I like boxing. I don't necessarily want you to do it, but the way that you're navigating these things, people older than you can't do that.
What age is this, Vidal?
About 4.
Wow. You were showing like talent then?
Yeah, he was like, as a 4-year-old, when I put my hands up and tell you, like, throw this, move here, do that, you just do it. And he said from that moment, when I knew you could absorb the information like that, if you can always do that, you can do something in boxing.
What's it like having your dad as a coach?
You know, I don't think anyone else can coach me, because he has the ability to separate the two, which we know is where complications can come up, is when you're looking at it just as a dad or just as a coach. But we have a relationship that's literally, it's like merged but separate at the same time.
I get you.
It's a bit, so when I can go and see him, we're going to talk about boxing, of course, because that's what we do. That's our life. But then we also will just sit down and have father-son conversations. And that can be even in the gym. That can be during a session. You know what I mean? It just works, man. It works.
He's exactly the same. Joe Calzaghe.
Yeah.
He said he don't think anyone else could have trained him.
Yeah. No, I really look at Enzo and Joe's relationship, and it does remind me of me and my dad's relationship. Because it's just like that person that can motivate you. They can comfort you. They're ready to go to war when you're ready to go to war. They put their whole time into checking what's happening in your division, what's happening in the division below, what you need to improve in your game, but also like, oh, son, you just moved house. Like, you need anything. Do you know what I mean?
And
it's nice.
It's not going to be constant cheerleading. They're going to tell you, because they care about you that much.
No cheerleading.
No
cheerleading. But we don't need that. You know, there's enough people in the world to play that role.
Yeah. He has very high expectations of you. He really believes you can go all the way. Does that add a lot of pressure in your mind, or do you buzz off of it?
I think when I was younger, it did. Because when you can't see what someone else can see, then it's kind of hard to, you feel pressured. Because you're like, why'd you see that in me? You know, what makes you think I can do that?
Yeah.
And then once you dedicate yourself to the cause, and you like start to feel what you've been hearing, what everyone's been saying, once you believe that, there isn't no pressure. It just feels like it's going to be done at some point.
Can you remember the moment when that was?
When I felt it, like, okay, I can do this. It's been so long. It's been such a long journey, because I felt it and then I've lost it. I felt it and I've lost it, and then I've just felt it and then it stayed.
Yeah,
it's a weird one.
Was it like, because how many national titles did you win?
8
national titles.
Yeah,
perhaps maybe one of those, the silver in the Europeans. Was it?
Yeah, definitely when I won the silver in the Europeans, which to this day I'll always say should be a gold. But I fought a Russian guy in Russia in the final. You know how it goes.
Yeah,
you know, can be like that. But I think during that period of time, I think I was 15 then, I was like, no, I am like built for it. I'm built for this. And this is after I've won national titles, but going into national and having a medal and, you know, going up to GB and being recognized by, you know, the country, like, you are representing us. That's when I thought, okay, cool. Like, this is, yeah, I'm good at this.
It's crazy. And, you know, like your achievements in the amateurs are so great. You know, what you've done, and people still don't realize that pedigree because of the huge distraction, I guess, if you want to call it that, which was KSI. But what you've done was massive. I mean, how many amateur fights did you have?
Probably like 55.
55. And in those 55, which really isn't many.
It's not, no.
8 national titles, a silver, which should have been a gold in the European juniors, the youths.
Yeah, it was the juniors, European juniors.
I mean,
Youth Olympics I went to as well.
Phenomenal.
But again, all you have to do is train a YouTube, and then the whole world will forget about it. That's my experience. But then they can't take, why I don't really care is because you can't take the experience that is fact, and you can't take my skill, which is fact. So your opinion is obviously like, you're not giving me my credit. But I mean, if we walk around looking for credit, and it's a sad life. And
yeah.
So it is what it is. I just need to know what I've done. My people know what I've done. Who knows. And if you don't know, it's very easy to click and find out.
Yeah. Was it around 15, 16 you stopped boxing?
Yeah. For me, being that successful in the amateurs consistently and not feeling any reward put me off. It put me off. Because I just thought, such an influential age, so many people around you are having fun. They are living a nice life, it seems, I'm so regimented and it's so strict. You got to think I've been boxing since 3-4 years old. Went to the gym at 6 years old. I'm there every Tuesday and Thursday as a young kid. So I live a very structured life. And then you win, and you think, okay, cool. So 5-time national champion, medaled in Europe. Doesn't feel cool though. It doesn't feel.
What reward was you after, do you think?
I think this is another thing as well that people won't understand. We will understand. Boxing is only cool now. Like, it's not amongst kids.
Yeah.
As amongst men, boxing is always a thing, right? But in school, it's football. It's who's in what academy. Then you get he plays for Arsenal. He plays. And I'm like, I'm a 5-time boxing champion.
Yeah, the cool kid ain't a boxer.
Everyone's like, okay. I think the cool kid now would be a boxer.
Yeah, you're right.
In school. I think if you tell everyone in school now you're a boxer, I think you're going to get some cool points for it. So I just didn't feel from any aspect or any angle that it was help. Like, why should I be missing out on the fun of a kid for this? I've proven I'm good at it. I'm a winner. And I don't feel like, I'd rather go and hang out with my mates, to be honest, because I never really did. And then you get to that age, 15, 16, where, you think you're grown. Everyone thinks they're grown at that age. And you're like, you know what? No, I'm done with that. I'm good. I'm going to go and do some stuff in my life that I, really want to do.
And what was that?
Music. That's where I started developing my love for music. Because I was like, I really want to make music. I have a musical family, so going to my auntie's house, beats are being made and people are writing, and I'm like, okay, I like this. And I'm not getting hit in the face. It's nice. You can just sit down and put a word together, and people like music as well. Music was another cool points thing. It's like, he's a rapper. Yeah, he's da-da-da-da. So it was another cool points thing. And I was like, I'm going to just spend some time doing some music. I'll work, make some money, and just see how
What was your dad like? You stopping boxing?
That time, I've stopped a few times, but that time when I stopped, which was the last time I stopped, he didn't say anything. He was like, if you don't want to do it, don't do it. He said, I would hate to force you into something that dangerous and you didn't really want to do it. But he said, if anything happens to you, he said, I got to live with that. So he said, if you don't want to do it, fair enough. It's too dangerous to not be invested in it. So just leave it. And he let me do what I was doing. And as I said, he didn't treat me in any, it didn't change. Like, oh, you're not boxing now. I call him, you don't pick up anymore, whatever. Do you know what I mean? It was just like, cool. I know that you have it in you to do something in this game, and it's a shame that you can't see it. But I'm your dad. Make your decision. That's it.
So what age did you get back into boxing?
18 or 19. 18, I'd say.
And why was that?
Because I was watching the Rio Olympics. So yeah, I would have been 19. I was watching the Rio Olympics and I was like, Lawrence Okolie went. And I was like, I feel like I could beat this guy. But then you have to humble yourself because you're watching him on the TV, bit overweight, snacking, chilling, and you're talking about, I think I could beat him.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, he's put in the work to be there. So I thought, I can't live like that. I can't, because I do know, when I'm watching that, I'm like, I can win. I can win against this guy. I could be there. If he's there, I could be there. And he only started boxing in 2012 because he saw AJ. So I'm like, this guy in 4 years is at the next Olympics. He saw the last Olympics and made it to the next one. People really don't give Lawrence the respect.
That's incredible.
That
really is incredible.
You're working in McDonald's in 2012. you're overweight. You say, you know what? I see AJ, I can do that. You lose all the weight, you go and do all the training, you do all of that, and you make the next
Yeah, that's
Olympics.
phenomenal.
But I still thought I could beat him though when I saw him. But that's only
But you didn't want to be. But you didn't want to be that armchair fan. You wanted to do something about it.
I couldn't, and I was sitting there. I was thinking, if he can do this in 4 years, at this point, I'm thinking I've boxed like 15 years of my life, and I'm sitting here watching him on TV talking about, oh yeah, I think I could beat him. That's just like a loser's angle. I was like, no, I need to get up, man. I need to do something.
So from 18 then, so did you say when you stopped, you won 5 national titles?
Yeah.
So when you got back into
maybe it was that 6.
So you still won a couple?
Yeah, when I came
when
back.
you come back?
Yeah.
And then at what point did KSI and becoming his coach happen in with you turning professional?
Yeah, so that's where my brain is a bit jumbled. So much happening around that time, but 2018, 2017. So when did I win my last? I think I won my last national in 2017.
Right.
At this time, I'm a personal trainer. So
Gymbox.
Right. Shout out to Gymbox. But yeah, I was a personal trainer in there. And it just so happens that the biggest creators in the UK live in the block 5 minutes from the gym.
Right.
So this is their local gym.
Mm.
And then I trained a lot of big creators like Callout and Behzinga, Behzinga, a lot of the Sidemen. And it just randomly come up, yeah, KSI is having a boxing match. And then everyone at that point is like, you know our PT? He's like 8-time national champion, you know? Like, you should do boxing with him. And where I train them so often, I'm just cool with them, you know?
Mm.
And then he was like, you sure? And he's like, how old is he? And he's like 19. They were like, But then he said, come down, do a session with him, see how you feel. And bear in mind that he was doing sessions before that with like David Hay. He was doing it with people you should go with. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that I'm more qualified than David. So I'm thinking, well, he's done sessions with David Hay, probably ain't gonna get the job on my And then next thing you know, he's like, I like it. I'm in.
How many sessions was it?
One after the
just
first session.
Just one session?
After the first session, he said, I'm in. Let's go. He said, my fight's in February. At this time, I think it was like October. He said, I've got a fight in February. So let's go. Just tell me what I need to do and let's get to it.
Wow. So where was your boxing at the time?
So at this time, I'm in the ABAs. I lose in the ABAs in the semi-final. This is pretty whilst I'm training them.
Yeah.
So I lose in the ABAs semi-final. And then the guy that beat me in the ABA semis beat me again in England versus the Army. So I had 2 losses to him back to back. And then at that point, my dad's like, he's like, you got 2 choices. He said, you either quit or turn pro. He said, that's what you got left with. Because he said, you're not getting in now. Because you've lost at the wrong time. So I knew he was right as well. I feel like there's a thing with the truth. Everyone, I don't know if I'm right, but I believe every human, when they first hear a truth, they know it's the truth. And then from that moment, they decide,
that gut, didn't you?
They decide denial, acceptance, defensive. You pick from there, but it hits you what the truth is. And when he said to me, you got to quit or turn pro, I thought, I just came back. I don't want to quit again. I didn't come back to quit again like that. And I didn't know what turning pro looked like. And then I went to Vegas with KSI, maybe like 2 weeks later. And then I thought to myself, let me take all my kit and make sure I spar out there. And I was like, I want to spar like the best person my size out there, just to see what happens. And I was like, then I took myself out of it. And then my good friend Leon, he said, V, take your kit. Something's going to happen out there. Take your kit.
How long was you out there for?
A week.
Right.
So he said, take your kit. I said, all right. Took my kit. Ended up sparring Andrew Tabiti.
Yep.
Who was their best cruiserweight, the US best cruiserweight. And then I done well against him. And then before I left the country, they were like, right, you need to meet us, MGM Grand now in the lobby. We need to have a talk with you because we want to work with you. We want to make sure you know before you get on the plane, we're serious about you coming out here and starting your pro journey here.
Who's they?
So this guy's name is Amir Abdullah, who is Badou Jack's manager.
Yeah.
At the time, and still is. But yeah, he was like, I can help you. I can help you. If you move here, trust me, turning pro is the right decision. You got these followers. Remember, at this time, I went to the gym and they're ridiculing me for being with KSI.
Yeah.
So they are not knowing my background, and they're just thinking because I'm with a group of YouTubers. Here's another YouTuber who thinks he can box, but I'm like, I'm not like them. I actually have been boxing. Yeah. So, but that effect is positive because the expectation is so low. The moment that you do that, it's like, oh my gosh, this guy is one of the best thing we've ever seen, because you really had me here in your mind. And I think I benefited from the fact that I was severely underestimated. And then, end up turning pro.
It's funny that yours works out the best way, because sometimes these YouTubers or guys, we were talking about this the other day, who have this huge social media presence, it's so hard for them because their expectations as a fighter on social media looks as if they can go all the way. But when it comes to it, that they can't do it. They can't do it. But on the flip side, you had this following, you had this people around you that really boosted your profile, but you could fight. You could back it up.
And that was, again, just a moment where I was like, I am definitely supposed to box. I've been put here to box. I know that. Like, this is too... I don't believe in coincidences like that.
But
my dad has a conversation with me a couple weeks before, a couple weeks after. Bear in mind, we're based in the UK. I don't have any business turning pro with Mayweather Promotions and living in Vegas. It doesn't seem like an option when you're talking about turning pro and you're based here. You're thinking, okay, maybe I should go talk to the promoters that are here, see what can happen. Not fly out 1 week, spar, and then your career starts with Mayweather Promotions in Vegas.
It's the American dream. Only in America.
It's expensive dream. The American dream is very expensive.
The maddest thing about this, right, is your debut. Right, so you turned pro 2018, and you're debuting in Tijuana, Mexico.
Well, I mean, it's quite... Again, I'm living pro... the American pro journey. A lot of them go down to Mexico to build up their experience in Tijuana, and then they have a few fights there. You get a deal with a network, and you come back to the US, and then they appear on TV. You always see it. They appear on TV like 16-0, 16 knockouts. You're like, where did that happen?
Yeah.
But they went to Mexico. So I just was part of that journey, and then had my debut there. Had my second fight in MGM Grand.
Massive card.
Pacquiao, Broner. There's only 2 people in there, but I was still on the card.
Was it quiet, was it?
No, it was...
Oh, for yours, sorry, your fight.
Yeah.
Was you first on?
At like 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
It doesn't matter. You fought at the MGM
I know.
Grand
for me, I'm
on that undercard.
I'm gassed about it. But then, when you say it, everyone pictures Michael Buffer in the middle. And then I'm like, it wasn't that. But I did fight in MGM Grand. I was at the same weigh-in, seeing Pacquiao's crowd, seeing Broner's crowd, like seeing a massive Vegas boxing show. Like, I was a part of it. So,
I will never let you undermine that moment. That is special.
It's special.
Second fight.
How
cool is that?
Knocked the guy out in 33 seconds. Even better,
Brilliant.
And then third fight, I headline in Dubai, which was different because, again, we was just trying to see, based on my unique selling point, how does that look? Most people are not going to headline in their third fight.
Actually, Fear Fame was top of the bill, right? I think.
Yeah, he was. I believe he was. He was. But it was just testing the waters. But for that show, I was the main event. Like, the show that I was on, I was headline in my third fight in the 5 pound.
Oh, was you? Right, okay.
I was the main event.
How mad's that? First 3 fights?
Like
Tijuana, MGM Grand, then you're in Dubai. Top of the bill.
Main event,
Right, your main event, okay.
And I was like, that the posters around the hotel is like, he's fighting here on Saturday. Like, this, I was literally pushed and promoted It's the main event.
And what was you being labelled as there? Was you like this? Was you labelled on the top of the bill as the future of whatever division, or was you still this KSI?
No, yeah, it wasn't the future of the division. It was more like international social media sensation, but also he's a real boxer, guys. But the selling point at that time, which is completely understandable, to get the traction, it was a pay-per-view as well, was we have to connect to what is the most popular thing. Not looking at it like I'm being discredited. Why don't you keep telling them I'm 8-time national champion? It's an event. I'm a main event in my third fight. You have no right to be in that position. It's on pay-per-view. However they want to sell it to make sure it does well, just roll with it and win. You know what I mean? And I done that. And then...
Where's KSI at this moment?
He was there.
And what's your relationship with him then? Are you still his coach at this point?
I'm still his coach, but where he's a superstar, he will have a fight and then he's not going to fight for a period of time and then he'll fight again. So it was kind of like that fight fell at a time where he was negotiating his next fight.
Right.
And then by the time I've had that fight, his fight against Logan Paul the first time is locked in. So then I can get into camp with him as the coach after just finishing my fight. And that worked for a certain period of time. And then I realized it's all too good to be true, innit? It's too good to be true. Like, you're going to fight in MGM Grand, you're going to headline, you're going to be signed to Mayweather Promotions. On top of that, you're going to train a superstar, and are you taking this pro career serious? Are you going to actually be able to defeat certain levels of competition if you're spread this thin? And once I, got the advice from my family, friends, sat with it myself, I had to say, this is sweet, but I got to focus, man. I have to let this go and decide, am I doing this pro boxing journey, or am I going to come up short there and probably be more wealthy? Probably be more wealthy choosing the coaching side of things. I always say that, if I decided to go down the coaching road in the YouTube boxing, crossover boxing space, I would have ended up being like Manny Stewart in our space.
Right, I get you. And was you earning more money? Like you say, you was earning more money through the coaching.
No, I've earned more money boxing. No,
but at that point.
But at that point,
was that 3-4 fights in?
Yeah. At that point, I mean, it's not even comparable. Like the money that I'm getting for fights. My first fight, I didn't even get paid. The one in Mexico. My second and third fight, full fight, that was just like extra change.
Yeah.
It wasn't what was doing it for me. So I'm thinking, okay, I'm making good money. If I decide to sign out now and be a coach, as you've seen how the industry's developed, I would have been like the first go-to. Obviously, go to Vidal. Like, you want a good trainer, go to Vidal. But then I thought, I wasn't put here to be a coach. I'm too young to be a coach. I'm 21, thinking about being the best coach in a new space. And at that time, there was no guarantees that industry was going to exist. There was nothing showing that there was longevity in it. It was just massive when it happened. So I was like, am I really going to bank on that? Or am I going to use the skills that I have from a kid, toddler, to adult? Am I going to use that, or am I going to try and hedge my bets into something that's brand new, pays well? Seems like a trap.
I'll tell you what,
like a trap. It sounds like a trap.
What a fantastic decision you have made. No. Me as a fan watching you and everyone else, we're so pleased that you have taken the important journey of yourself and your own boxing journey, because you really are a talent. So at that point then, where did Boxer come into play? Because you was on the Khan Brook undercard, right? Was that the first fight?
Massive one. Yeah. First fight under Boxer. Moved back to the UK. Pandemic hit as well. So it was like, lived in Vegas. I'm out there. It's not what I thought it was going to be. Never terrible. Great experience. I'm glad that I went. Everything I went through, it helps me today. But wasn't what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
Pandemic hits, world shuts down. I'm thinking, even though I moved to Vegas, you can fly and see me. No one can come in. You know what I mean? You're just isolated. And I said, I need to go back to my family, man. I need to go back to my family. I need to go back to the UK. And I also need to rekindle with my dad because I was winning, but I could feel I was not as good as I am with him. And now I don't listen the same if it's not him. It's a weird, it's a very strong connection. So I need to get back to him as well, man. If I'm going to do this properly. Because remember, at this point, I've made the decision now. I am going professional boxing. I've left the coaching. Yep. I'm still going to keep a YouTube channel. I'm not going to turn into, I'm just running in the morning, and I'm not going to do that. Like, I run in the morning. I don't need to act like that. I'm going to have my personality, do what I'm doing. But this pro thing needs to happen. So I'm like, Dad, I need you to train me. And he's like, he's like, I know what you're like, man. I don't know. I said, Dad, no, I'm in. Let's do it. Here we are.
What was KSI like when you said, I can't train you no more?
Oh, it was all right.
It was all right, fine.
Yeah, it was fine because he knew that you got so much potential as a fighter, man. Like, you are a good fighter. He's trained with me, spent so much time with me. We've lived together for a period of time during camp and stuff like this. So he really knows you got it, man.
Yeah.
And when I said I'm going to go into it, he was like, yeah. He was like, of course, do your thing.
Brilliant. So look, you win that fight on the Brook Khan undercard. 10th fight was a big one.
Yeah.
September 2023, you fight for the first title of your career, vacant English title, Nathan Quales.
Yeah.
Beat him comfortably on points.
Mm-hmm.
Big moment in your career.
Big moment because it felt like it's like I'm used to being English champion. That sounds bad. Or it sounds arrogant, whatever. I don't care. It's what it is. But I'm used to being English champion. So when I won the English title as a professional, I felt restored because I've been English champion since 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 years old. So to me, it was like weird to not be.
Yeah, but I get a normal order.
It's like, wait, I'm supposed to be at least champion here. Like, come on, that's how I felt. So when I won the English, I thought, okay, no one can say that I've failed going the professional route because I've won a professional title, which is hard to do. Any professional title, that is.
Yeah.
People really underestimate how much it takes to win a Southern Area title. Do you know what I mean? It's not. It's hard. So winning the English, I was like, okay, I'm legitimate now as a professional boxer. But I know I'm still not going to be respected because the belt isn't of that level.
Here we go then. What a segue to go into this next one, all right? You did beat Michaela Wow. That's another shout-out win. Big win against a dangerous puncher, an experienced fighter. 3 broken ribs as well, right? But this one, for me, it is huge for so many reasons. So you're fighting for the British title, right? That alone, we were speaking before we come live about, the dream of being a British champion. You cemented yourself in British boxing history by winning that title. But there's so many big, poignant matters in this fight. And that is the fact that you lived a stone's throw away from the stadium.
Yes.
Right. You went to school around the corner.
Across the street.
From the stadium. It's a British title fight against a former Olympian, a tournament that you wanted to go to as a fighter. You wanted to be an Olympian, right? I mean, talk to me about this occasion.
And he's an Arsenal fan as well.
And he's an Arsenal fan.
Let's add that back in there. Yeah, he's an Arsenal fan too. Again, Darren, as I'm speaking to you, even if you just walk in on the conversation, it sounds like my destiny is to box. Because the British champion at the time could have supported any team. The fight could have been anywhere. I was supposed to have a fight before that, fell through, that allowed the opportunity for that fight to happen. And then I'm on my doorstep and I said it's destiny. And I mean it, it's destiny. And I knew I was going to beat Chef because I've worked for it. And all the things that are out of my control have fallen in my favor.
Yeah.
That recipe, why would you think something's going to go wrong?
Our nerves going into that fight, a fight of that magnitude.
No nerves. I didn't have any nerves. Didn't have any nerves the whole week. I kept saying it to the team as well. I was like, I'm not even nervous. I know what needs to be done. I'm just going to go and do it. Like, if you don't do it on this day, everything, it's not going to be right. Like, you just know when something needs to be done. As a man, you know when something needs to be done. There's no maybe, and if that happens, ships are burnt, we're sailing out, we're going. And that's how I felt about it. I didn't have any nerves fighting Chev. Not in the fight week, not on the ring walk, not in the announcements, not during the fight. I was just like, this is a task that I know I'm going to handle, and I'm going to be British champion.
Did it go exactly how you visualized it beforehand, the fight?
No, it did in parts, but I don't over visualize anyway, because if it goes different, then you're like, oh my gosh, I thought it was going to go like that. How comes he's not doing that? Today's a new day. Today's a new day. I can watch you as much as I want on film study, and on that day, I might do something to you that makes you act different.
It's mad though. Like, okay, there's
the canvas can be ultra slippery, which was what actually happened.
That was crazy, wasn't it?
Which really changed the fight.
Yeah,
it changed the fight.
That
it
was
changes
nuts.
your decisions. Yeah, it changes what you do, because I can't afford for Chev to hit me on the shoulder. I'm on the Fatal Fury logo. Bang, 1, 2.
And then you can't also land big shots either, because you can't get that grip.
You can't put that grip down. And there's one time where I tried in the fight to like actually just stand still and I'm just sliding and gliding, and I'm like, you know what, might as well slide and glide. That's what the canvas is giving me, so let me just box like that.
Right, there's greater titles for you to win, as great as the British title is, as we've said. But as far as occasion is concerned, can it get any greater than that? Like what I'm saying is, with all of those components that we said there, all of those ingredients, that for me is like you're almost a defining fight already in your career, a huge moment. Like, are you still highly motivated, even though you've had that massive moment?
It's just starting. We're just starting. We're just starting. Like, for me, all the other stuff that I had to do was to learn, perfect my craft, get better, continue to perfect my craft, learn about the game, learn about how boxing works, inside, outside the ring. Like, that was what that period was for. The level I was fighting at, like I said, you have to remember, I'm always fighting at a higher level. I always fight at a high level. So to me, I'm like, I need to get through this stage to get to where I want to get to. Because this is not what I turned pro to do. This is not the highlight of me. This is just a necessity to get to where the journey begins for me in my mind, where I feel like I'm at the level that matches what I believe. You know what I mean? Like, it's matching me. And that's how I feel as the British champion now. I'm like, okay, let the games begin. Let the games begin. This is where it gets fun. And I think that is what just makes me a competitor. It's fun. It's fun to me.
How would you grade your career up to date?
How would I grade it?
Yeah.
It's a good question, actually.
You ain't done much wrong, have you?
No, I'd have to give it. Yeah, I'd give it a 10 out of 10. Why not?
Yeah.
Why not? I mean, I'm thinking about what I've accomplished. I'm thinking about the level of opponents that I've had. I'm thinking about the manner in the way I've beaten them. And everyone, I go on then. We go 9 out of 10. Just
9 out of 10.
Just to add a minus for humility.
Okay, right. You're a perfectionist. That's good. As you said there, you know, you're a targeted man now. Big target on your back. People screaming and shouting your name because they want what you've got. And one of the names out there, Aloys Jr.
Yes.
Big punching.
Yeah.
Fighter in your division.
Mm-hmm.
Desperately wants that British title. A fight you'd entertain?
Oh, 100%. I don't know if he desperately wants it or if he says he desperately wants it. It's two different things. But he has
shown interest.
Yeah, he's paraded that he wants to fight. He's going to, what's his words? He's wearing that Burger King crown. What did he say?
The Burger
No,
King
what did he
crowd.
say? He said, "Oh yeah."
In the ring after his last
Yeah,
fight.
he said, "No, this was after." Like in the ring, he said, "Yeah, I want Vidal Riley."
Yeah.
But then when he hops out now, he's like, "Yeah, what do you want to do next?" And then he's like, "Yeah, British title. Yeah, I'm here, baby. I'm here, baby." So I'm like, "All right, cool, come on in." So I went. I said, reached out to the team. Same week, I said, "Get me on TalkSport or something," because this guy's talking a lot. I understand why though. I'm actually not offended by it. You can see I'm not offended by it.
He wants what you've
It's
got.
just part of the game. You
Yeah.
want the belt. You're the mandatory, so you've earned it.
Mm.
You're not just screaming from anywhere. You've earned it. Like you are my mandatory. You're talking because at the end of the day, it's not the 80s anymore. The Commonwealth champion's not famous.
Mm.
No one knows the Commonwealth champion.
Yeah.
So what you got to do is attach yourself to the clicks. You got to attach yourself to where people do look. So it's a perfect play from Aloys. It's great.
Mm.
Like he's like, yeah, I'm going to put myself there. But you're not going to do that for free. So if you want that to be a part of your story, I can be a part of your story. And then we'll fight. And then your whole thing just deflates.
3 years ago, you said being a world champion wasn't enough and your purpose was to change what people think a boxer should be. Sitting here today, where are you in that journey?
Of what changing the view on what a boxer should be.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm definitely doing the right things. You know, there's certain things, like with any job, the fundamentals remain the same. You can't change certain things. If you do try to change the mode on that, you'll fail. But in terms of showing people, like, you can have a podcast, you can be an active fighter and have a podcast, you know. You can make vlogs, you know what I mean? Go enjoy the football, watch the football, do you know what I mean? And still get the work done. You know, you can do that because I think, you know, the whole image is I wake up, I drink raw eggs, I went for a run, I hit the pads, then I had lunch, just some kale and dry chicken breast, then I went back to the gym, and then I sparred at 4 o'clock, and then I made sure I took my vitamins, and then it's like, cool, we all do that. It's not amazing. The world don't care if you do that. You're a professional athlete. Your life is clearly different to mine. You eat healthy and you train. You get that. But what else? What else? Like, I don't care about your kale and chicken. I want to see if you support a team.
There he goes again with the
I wore
spell.
this jacket on purpose. But yeah, the people, come on, man. It's what connects people to. There's too many stimulants in the world for you to just be excellent at your task and think everyone should know you.
Yeah, I'll make you right there. We mentioned you mentioned his name earlier, Lawrence Okolie. You said you're one of the top 5 fighters that he shared the ring with, sparring. Do you think a lot of people, we've kind of touched on this through the story already, have underestimated you as a fighter because of this YouTube?
Yeah. I feel like some have tried not to, but it's very powerful because it is what is highlighted. So I'm not going to get underestimated for much longer. I know that.
Yeah.
And
I think that's done now.
yeah,
I think it's
not
done now.
if it's not done, it will be done very soon. And I think, yeah, I enjoyed the time of being underestimated. You know, it comes with a lot of benefits. But then when you're no longer underestimated, you just gotta still show them I'm the guy.
What's your views on YouTube boxing now?
It's in a shaky space. Misfits are doing a great job though. They are doing a great job because they're keeping the consistency of that world alive. Obviously Jake Paul does big events when he does the events, but they're not as frequent, you know, as Misfits, or they don't keep the grassroots. They've chosen, you know, the grassroots of that industry, the creators that are smaller, that want the opportunity will get the opportunity there. Like it's a way of keeping that scene alive. So I think they need certain fights to happen, just like our world is. When certain fights happen, boxing reignites itself. And on that side, there's fights that need to happen. Most obvious, Jake Paul, KSI, a fight like that gives the game that charge, you know. But without those fights, it's hard. Yeah.
Do you keep an eye on it?
Yeah. I do. I feel connected to it because I feel like I started it.
Right.
So when it didn't exist before KSI and Joe Weller in 2018, and I was in the corner with KSI, so I feel like I was a part of why this is here type thing. So I always stay connected to it.
Could you ever be sidetracked from your career if the likes of Jake Paul started screaming and shouting your name?
No.
£1 million.
Otherwise,
£1
I would have sidetracked
£1 million.
already. Darren, why are you doing me like that? Why are you doing me like that? Honestly, at this particular time, I can't be sidetracked. There could be a time in my career where it's not even a sidetrack, it's just a nice path, it's just a lucrative choice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Rather than a sidetrack. Right now, it is a sidetrack. And until we, see where we max out, it's a sidetrack. I'm very locked in on this goal. But because he's, saying he wants to be world champion and all these things, who knows, man, what the future will hold.
It's crazy. Yeah. Touching on the coaching side of things, obviously coaching KSI, as we've spoken about throughout this podcast, do you think that coaching has made you a better fighter? Sort of understanding the other side of it, sort of stepping outside of the fighter and looking back in?
No.
No?
I think it was, my experience with him was seeing the top of the game, how a massive fight week is, the media, the lifestyle.
Right.
That's what I learned the most from being with KSI.
Right. You was on the undercard, Ben Eubank. What did you think of that fight? Did you come back out and watch it?
No, I left, man.
Did you leave straight away?
Yeah, you know what? I wanted to stay, but then the adrenaline dropped, and then I just Chev got me a couple of times. So I started feeling it. I was like, oh,
You had enough.
I'm like, you know what, guys, man, we should just go back to the hotel. And because I know the area, you don't want to be there at the end.
It took me 2 hours to get back to Barnet. It's only around the corner.
It's all right. I was like, yeah, I'll miss it.
How do you think the rematch will go between the two of them?
I think Eubank wins again.
Yeah.
I think Eubank wins again. It depends how much that took out of him, though, and he put his body through a lot to even get in the ring.
Yeah.
And then to have a fight like that don't leave you. So I don't know, but
a few more on the current scene. AJ coming back, whispers potential free fight deal. Who would you want those 3 fights to be against?
Fury, Wilder.
A rematch with either Wilder or Fury. Because you're probably not going to see an Usyk trilogy, are you? AJ, Usyk.
Nah, we don't want to see that.
No.
I don't want to see it. I think definitely Fury and Wilder, because those are like his generational big names. Those are the big names, and we haven't got to see it. So if we're gonna see it, before you go, let's see it. And then as for the other heavyweights, I can't think of anyone else. I'm like, I want to see AJ in there with them.
Just a quick word on Moses Talma.
Yeah, big up Moses. Man.
Is he the future of the division?
He's looking like it for sure. Ability, if he doesn't go to the top, it's nothing to do with his ability, but just life can be complicated. Things can get in the way. But it would never be down to his ability why he doesn't go to the top.
Still a young man.
He's young.
Yeah.
He's young, man. And he's getting a lot of attention, a lot of, it's a lot. So it's just like, let's see how you deal with that, because that's a different challenge in itself. That's a different fight. Learning how to deal with adulation and all these things. So,
how do you see the rematch going between Dubois and Usyk?
I think Dubois is going to stop him.
Do you really? Yeah.
Yeah. I think like around 6 or 7, something like that.
A man you shared the ring with.
Yeah.
In the amateurs.
Yeah. He's strong.
Yeah.
He's strong.
How old was you when you fought, Daniel?
17.
You beat
16 or 16, 17. Yeah, I beat him. Yeah. I told you, I'm like, I'm a winner. But he's Daniel. I've known him since I was 8 years old. We used to spar with him at 8 years old. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then we sparred as amateurs. When people come down to your gym.
Yeah.
And then we was always 1 weight apart. We was always 1 weight apart. And then we're in the gym and they're like, oh, Daniel's doing 80 kg. I was like, dude, you want to do 75? The disrespect. I was like, you want me to go to 75 because Daniel's at 80? I'm doing 80. I was like, we're doing 80. That's it. And it was my first season back after being injured.
Yeah.
I was out for 18 months and Daniel's just battering everyone. Like, during this period, he's battering everyone. So when I come back and I'm like, bear in mind, I even forgot this, but this is interesting. I won a national title at 57 kg. The next national title that I won after being out for about 18 months was at 80 kg.
Wow.
Yeah. And that's when I ended up fighting Daniel.
You mentioned the injury there. Was that 2020? Around that
was this is in my childhood. This was growing pains.
But you had a bad injury though, didn't you?
Yeah, in 2020.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2020.
Didn't you say somebody, it was like, in hindsight, it was a blessing?
It was because, like I said, like, boxing would be great, would be easier if life stopped around it.
Yeah.
But because life doesn't, if something gives you that space from boxing, then you can put more energy into what's happening in life. And I think that injury, and I think that's what injuries do. I think injuries do that. Even when I broke my ribs against Mikel Lawal, it was like 6 months out of the ring, you're thinking, like, everything's happening around me, like Chev's just won this, and you know, but then things happen and you realize that 6 months, that was supposed
exactly
to be
the same with me. And that annoyance that you can't be involved shows you that you care and you want it.
It's true. It makes
you want it.
It does.
You know, that's exactly how I was with my hips.
That FOMO hits crazy.
Oh, it's horrible.
It hits crazy.
Horrible.
That FOMO.
Your Mount Rushmore of boxing.
Whoo! You know, I don't get asked these questions. I better start getting my answers ready for these. I knew he was going to ask good questions. I said that downstairs. Mount Rushmore. Roy Jones Jr.
Yeah, I would say if anybody was to say he's the greatest fighter of all time in his prime, you couldn't rubbish that.
No, you can't.
In his prime, unreal.
It's crazy. Roy, for sure. Evander Holyfield.
First person to say that.
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah, I can't argue with that.
Crazy. Floyd, of course.
Yeah.
And then if I'm being factual on the Mount Rushmore, then you put Sugar Ray Robinson.
Has to be. Yeah. Has to be.
Yeah, it's like you can't. There's no mountain otherwise. But then if we're going for a favorite choice instead, I'll put.
Sure.
I'll put, it's a tie between Sugar Ray Leonard and Matt McCann.
Yeah, rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
Yeah.
Man.
Who do you think wins, Leonard or Mayweather? Prime.
Prime. We're saying Pretty Boy Floyd or
whatever
Money Mayweather.
Prime you think's. Whatever prime you think. Mayweather.
Okay, I think Sugar Ray Leonard Prime would beat Money Mayweather, but Pretty Boy Floyd, I don't know. I don't know.
I'd agree with you there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Leonard threw too many shots. So the defensive Money Mayweather, I think, would have got outworked. Even though he would have defended and missed and avoided a lot of the shots, I think he would have been outworked. But
yeah,
man, Pretty Boy, he was nasty.
Yeah.
People forget how nasty he was and how spiteful he was.
His performance against Arturo Gatti is one of my favourite boxing performances.
That's a bad beatdown. Another fight, we've got to rest in peace
as well. Yeah. Arturo Gatti, but yeah, that is one of my, yeah.
What's your dream fight?
Don't have any.
No?
I don't have any dream fights, man.
See, it's because you've already had the Tottenham one.
It's not, no, you know what? There might be dream occasions, but not fights, man. I don't have any dream fights. I think there's only one I can think of, but I ain't saying it today.
No? But it gets the juices flowing.
Yeah, but I'm not putting it out there. I'm not putting it out there.
I'm intrigued.
There's one there.
Any advice for any upcoming boxers or creators themselves? Any advice for
upcoming boxers? Man, you just got to really want it. That's what I would say. I'm not going to say make sure you work on your jab and all that stuff, which is true. That is true, but I'm not saying that today. Just be stubborn and be invested.
Yeah, you got to be committed
to it. Because it's not an easy game. Boxing is not an easy game. And the only reason I'm in the game is because I genuinely believe, I was put here to do it. If boxing is your hobby and you're just like, I really like boxing, I just really want to do boxing, I'm like, well, I'll try and like something else first. Try
so true.
try and like something else first. Do you know what I mean? But so if you do pick this game, be in the game. For the ups, for the downs, for the mixtures of everything. Be in it. Embrace what's going to happen because it's eventful in this business.
Last couple, over 1 million YouTube subscribers. Not always active on there though. What's the current situation with the channel, etc.?
So the content that we put out on the main channel is, we got the drones out. We're going down the documentary sort of lane. Like we're giving you a real insight with that documentary feel.
Like long form sort of stuff.
Long form, not too long because we know everyone these days they can't focus.
Yeah.
So, but with that, people watch them. I'm noticing that people want to watch that long form content. And they look forward to them because they're not happening all the time. So we have that channel there. I've got my new vlog channel as well. First video was Spurs winning the Europa League.
Of course,
so just put that out there quick. But
not won the Champions League though, but anyway.
Yeah, no. But this season, well, you won the conference. Congrats.
Hey, we won it all. We won it all.
Congrats. No, honestly, fair play. But yeah, I got that channel and then I have my podcast, Brew Wills, where we talk about mainly fighting. It doesn't have to be boxing. It's boxing because that's what we do. But that's he's also my S&C coach as well, Leon Wills. So we got that podcast and I think right now that's where I'm seeing the people. That's where the energy is. The energy is in the fights and the energy is in the podcast because now people are stopping me and saying, oh, you're the guy from the podcast. I'm like, I am, but I'm British champion as well.
Yeah.
More importantly,
yeah.
But yeah, I am the guy from the podcast.
And mentioning the British title there, when can we expect to see you out again? Any idea?
September. I think September is when I'd like to get back in the ring. The past year I've been in camp the whole year. Honestly, I was preparing for a fight in November that ended up being December. And then I go straight back into camp to fight Isaac February the 1st. That falls through. Then a week later, I find out that I'm fighting Chev in Tottenham. So now I'm like, hey, we need to, let's go. So it's been intense, man. It's been intense and a lot happened in life as well. So it was just like, you know what? This summer, and you ain't going to, if you're fighting in September, you're not going to get the whole summer because you got to get back in.
Yeah.
So, yeah, September. So if Aloys wants to fight, September.
Right. When it's all said and done, how do you want to be remembered?
Just, as my nickname says, as the realist. That's it. That's how I want to be remembered. I don't care to be remembered as perfect. I don't mind. But you just know that this guy is like what he says he is. You see what you get. I laugh at you, laugh with you, I'll knock you out, and then I'll do what I do. I don't need to put on no persona. I don't need to play scary. I just, remember me as me. The realist.
Well, from one Repton boy to another.
West Ham, I'm not doing this. Darren, don't do this.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you very much, mate. Cheers. Top man.